Just finished the pilot episode for Knights of Guinevere. It's on YouTube. It's free for everyone to go watch. So definitely go check it out. And initially, pretty good. I didn't find too many things about it that made me like roll my eyes or anything. Besides the basic plot. Corporations evil, people not in corporations not evil. Uh, Besides that simple premise that all these kinds of shows fall into. But I liked the character designs. I liked the music, the setup, the world. Since we don't know all the answers, we're left with a lot of like confusion about like how does this world work? How does money work? Obviously there's like a class system, but there's a lot of questions. Will they be able to answer all these questions in a way that makes you want to watch more? Maybe. I don't know. Pilot did a pretty decent for being a pilot. Pretty decent to get you to want to watch more of the show. 7.5 out of 10. Almost great because there's little things like sometimes the animation gets really crappy for just a couple of seconds, very choppy. They do kind of lots of just like things happen really quick. It's like, whoa, what happened to the smoothness of the other scenes? And it just inconsistent animation, but stuff, technical stuff like that. But let's go ahead and jump right in. We have this kind of narration where we can't trust the narrator here. It's like, oh, there's a princess been captured. She's waiting to get saved. And is this Guinevere's the princess or is this little blonde girl the princess? We don't know. Looks like this android thing is this princess, which is like the face of this company. Obviously, it's Disney, and obviously this would be like their Mickey Mouse character. But then that's when you get the disconnect between Disney because Disney didn't make their character. Mickey wasn't everything. Like early on, they tried to put Mickey in movies, but no one wanted that, so they just stopped doing that. I think the last one was The Prince and the Pauper. Was the last like Disney project where like, oh, let's make Mickey Mouse the main character. Good movie, I like it, but it just did not stick with the audience. So that's why Disney stopped putting Mickey Mouse in everything. So, but apparently in this company, Guinevere is everything. Like she turns into whatever they need her to turn into. But this little girl, first I thought, oh, maybe she's a victim too. Maybe. So this Walt Disney like character comes and it's like, oh, look at this beautiful world. There's fireworks. It's like a big, but even the amusement park, it doesn't look very well planned out. Look how jam packed this is. Disney doesn't do this. Like you go to the parks, they spend a lot of time trying to make things not look like this. But he's like, oh, it's all yours, and you're gonna like make other people happy and stuff. And after considering after what happened, I'm assuming her mother was killed, something like that. Then I'm like, oh, maybe she's like I said, like a victim. But then she's like pulling on the insides of this Guinevere android. I'm like, oh, she's evil too. But maybe she's evil out of ignorance. When I say that is, I mean, she doesn't know what she's doing is bad because it's all she's ever known. Maybe, kinda. But this thing rather kill itself than be a prisoner anymore. So she just runs and jumps off the table or the platform they're on, crashes to the ground. And she's like, oh, damn it. Call security. And they're like, oh, no, they're going to call something else like these big, huge robot guys, which would be awful to find someone because they're so big. I don't know. There's little things like that. Like, well, it's so impractical. But then we see like kind of like what Princess Guinevere is. Like, oh, she's in all these different movies and she just changes to fit everything. So there'll be like mermaid one and like, oh, she's like a knight and oh, she's like all these other different kinds of things. Like she can be changed to anything. There's this right here. You see this screen. It people like if you read the comments like, oh, live action suck and all these kinds of like comments like making fun of like the haters. But that's what. So are they agreeing that the live action remakes suck? Or are they saying that they're great? Like what's the message here? But we kind of show a little bit of the world. We see like, oh, it's funny because what's the business model here? They control the entertainment, but then they have the money to like build like giant 50-foot tall mechs with giant swords. Like, what in the world does this even like? How does this even work? But we do get a couple scenes like this where there's no talking. and I think that was done for budgetary reasons. I know it's like thematic, but it's for budgetary reasons. We see two little girls. They see a vending machine, and it's a claw game. They hack the claw game. Here's a trope that I dislike in it's all media. When people hack things, there's like a fun little graphic, and it's like a little mini game you do. Like when you play a game and you hack a console, you have to do like a mini game. That's not how hacking works. It's nothing like that. There's no fun little graphic. But they hack the claw machine. They try to win this Guinevere plush. They can't. They keep losing, and then they just walk away. But then they get approached by like a hologram. I'm assuming this, or is it an android and then it has like a holographic skin to like make her glow and stuff? And it's like, oh, hello, children. And then I guess it can recognize you and then knows their names, which is super cool. How cool would that be if you went to the park and you walked up to a Winnie the Pooh and he's like, oh, hey, you haven't been here in a while. Oh, I missed you so much. And like it knows things about you because it remembers your conversations. How fun would that be? I think that would be really cool. But she has like a messed up finger and then she kind of fixes it. And then she's like, oh, thank you so much. And then that was like a core memory for this lady. She's like a Disney adult and she's a good guy, but she's kind of crazy. I think she might be schizophrenic. We'll see later on, like where I think she's actually crazy. Cut to them as young adults, probably in their 20s, and one of the other girls like begging this guy to let her buy something, but he's like, "Oh, you can't buy things here if you work for the no crownies," which I'm assuming is people that work for the Princess Core, whatever the company. They could call them crownies because the royalty, blah blah blah. It's like a slur. And she's arguing with them, "Hey, you've known me since we're kids. I just need some money to use the vending machine," and he's like being a jerk about it. The other girl just hacks it and steals it for her, and then of course there's lots of yelling and screaming and acting like goofballs. She throws it in the truck. She's like, "Oh look, here's all the stuff you needed," but it's like a bunch of like random junk. Like, what does this even mean? Like, I'm assuming these are parts for fix things. I don't know. But she's like, "Oh, you did pay for those, right?" And she's like, "Oh," she kind of makes like a silly face. Guy yells at him. They take off. I guess they're roomies. They live together. She's working on one of the animatronics, and then it like screws up and like gets all like disgusting. How would that even be possible? This is where the world building and like explaining why things do the things that they do. What's this all about? What, like they're Five Nights at Freddy's like versions of themselves. But she's an engineer, and everyone hates her because she works for the big company that everyone hates. So, but she's like, I'm just trying to make money and survive. So I was kind of showing both sides that the workers aren't necessarily like, if just because you work for Walt Disney, the company, doesn't mean you, what would I say, do agree with everything that the company does. I'm wondering if they're going to keep that stance and show that she's not a bad person, or they're going to be like, she should have known better. She's evil because she worked for an evil company and now she has to pay her penance. That's where like, where are they going to take this? But in this first episode, they don't take it that direction yet. But she's been working on this thing all day. The other girl wants to work with her. She's like, "Oh, if I do some great project, then maybe I'll get to be an engineer and we can work together. That'd be so cool." Then she has to go to work, and the other girl works like at a salvage ship. They just like get parts and stuff, and they like do factory things. And she's like a cool person that works in the, with the actual company. So we get with Frankie, and they're like making little like merchandise, and then the machines are another scene where there's no talking for budgetary reasons, and they're like making the merchandise, they're making cups, they're making deliveries. Then I guess her other job is the salvage job, where they're collecting all the same junk that they just made. So that's the whole commentary on consumerism. Like, all we do is buy, throw away, then we buy more, and it's just the same junk being recycled. Could this also be just the animation industry as a whole, that we just want the same stories over and over and over again, and the same junk gets recycled over and over and over again? Because as they're like collecting stuff in the trash, this big giant. Remember, I love Battle Angel, Alita. I love that manga. I love the anime. I love the movie. Very very good. And they had Zalm was this big giant floating city, and this is pretty much what this Disneyland is. And then when they just dump all the trash off the building, which is just like in Battle Angel, like it's exactly like Battle Angel. And there's a bunch of junk, and it's the same junk she was making. So they go to collect it. She's sifting through it and finds that Guinevere android thing, the one that jumped off the building at the beginning. So just like Battle Angel, it couldn't be any more like Battle Angel. But she's like, oh damn, he found this Guinevere android robot thing. She doesn't recognize the model. It looks very Frankenstein. And then her boss is like, whoa, we can make a ton of money off of this. Just chop her up and sell it. She's like, no, 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 let me fix it. And then if I can fix it, maybe the company will see how cool I am and then give me a job. But he's like, no, that's just my catch, my boat. I'm going to sell it because that's what I want to do. Then we get back to some random old lady in a bed. Is this the blonde little girl's mother? Is she being hidden away? Because remember, the Disney character said, oh, considering after what happened, forget your past and all that stuff, which is really stupid. She's a little girl. How could she forget her past? She doesn't even have life experience yet. Whatever. I'm wondering if that little girl's a robot too. How cool would that be? But this lady's like, oh no, Guinevere escaped. Oh, we have to save her. She must be so scared and confused. And like this creepy robot, like, they're like her attendants. They're like, oh, do you want to activate the security to get her? And they're like, what about these guys? These big, look how humongous they're like big. Oh, they're humongous. So they're going to activate one of these guys to go get her, which is again, stupid. You don't send Godzilla to go look for a puppy. This doesn't make any sense. We get to the other girl's work. Again, you get more choppy animations. It is what it is. She throws that head in the trash because I guess she couldn't get it to work. So I guess she gets fired because of that. We see the sentiment in the city. People hate the big company, pollution, all this stuff like that. This one guy starts jawing her about working for the company and like talking crap to her, like spits on her shoe. I would have smacked the living crap out of this guy. But you notice how people's spit has this purple goo, and it's the same purple goo that's in all the machines. So I guess it's poisoning the people, because she tries to go up to him and say, hey buddy, you can't talk to me like that. He starts coughing up a lung to the point to where he's like, obviously he's very sick, but she's not sick. So she doesn't have the poison. So you see the people with the bags under their eyes and they get like these purple like marks on their bodies. So I'm assuming that they're dying from the pollution. They're dying from consuming this material. I don't know what is actually causing this, but it looks like it's the same stuff that's inside the robots. But she's like, I'm just trying to get by, even though like she says, I'm sorry, I hope you feel better, but screw you. Yeah, exactly. You don't get to talk to people just because you're a homeless person doesn't have the right to yell and scream at you. Just because they're homeless doesn't give them a special card to treat you like crap. So we get to the Disney character, and it's like the, kind of introducing what Guinevere is. Hello, didn't see you there. Welcome to the magical dreamland of Guinevere or whatever. And oh, you'll see this is Princess Guinevere, and it shows a bunch of different versions of her. And how Princess Guinevere is everything you want her to be, like all your dreams, she can be anything. And then they talk about how she'll remember you, which is super cool. I think that is awesome. Frankie's watching this probably for the 10 millionth time because she's crazy. She's trying to identify this android model of Guinevere, but she can't. It's like, well, none of it matches any of these. So her little toys start talking to her. She's schizophrenic, right? Like, this isn't happening. In the comments below, are these little toys actually talking to her? Or is she just crazy and this is in her head? Because they're like, oh, you should go steal it back and save the princess. And then one of them's like psychotic. I'll bite the hand that feeds. What is this? I don't know why this exists. It's super weird. Her friend comes home. She's like, hey, let's, coming up with dinner plans. But Frankie is just staring at the screen. Her little dolls are on the ground and they're not walking around and talking. So I can only assume that she's insane. Is that I want to say a regular thing to conclude is that she's crazy. Frankie's insane. Then her friend puts away her toys, tries to talk to her, and then she starts talking to herself about like, oh man, she has her bound. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Your boss has someone captured. He's going to chop her up for parts. And she's like, whoa, is he killing a person? And Frankie's just like not answering. and like being very vague, and her friends freaking out because like you don't chop people up. He's like, "Oh, I'm just goofing with you, Frankie. What the hell?" But she's like, "No, I got to show you something." Shows her the Guinevere model, and then her friends like, "Damn, like this is like super rare. You can't just find something like this." She's like, "Well, let's take it to the cops." They're like, "No, no, no," because there might be an award. But she's like, "I don't care about a reward. I want to fix her first, because then they'll be impressed with me." And then she's like, What are you even talking about? If you could get arrested for having these things." It's like, "No, just remember that memory we had when we were like little kids, and then the Guinevere talked to us and all that stuff." So she's total Disney adult. They take the ship. They go to the where the doll's being held. They break it out of there. They go get her. There's a couple of scenes like this where it looks like they're being watched. Who's watching them? You can see the Guinevere thing's glowing. So obviously something's watching them. Is this the big giant robot thing that's hunting that you see at the end? Or is this something completely different? I'm thinking something completely different, because why wouldn't it go take the Guinevere model right now? Run into her old boss. He's like, "Oh, I can't believe you, Frankie. You're going to steal from me, and that's my property." And of course, she's trying to like plead her case. Then her boss is being very like, "Oh, you can't steal from me. I got to teach you a lesson." He's going to like, gets like his little shock stick, and he's going to like, I don't know, hit her with it. I don't know how deadly these things are. I'm assuming they're very painful, but she they start to fight, and he like knocks the ever living crap out of her. He hits her full on in the face and knocks her on her ass. She's got a black eye and everything. But then her friend gets the shock stick and then kind of makes a deal saying, "Hey, we fix her, then you'll be able to buy like 10 vessels." Because he's like, "I could sell this android now for and get enough money to buy 3 boats. And Frankie, I was going to give you one of the boats and you could be a captain." Like he's trying to play into that, like, "Oh, you can like move up with me." Is he telling the truth? Probably. But this is a down dirty place. So he didn't have to punch her like that. I thought that was a little much, but he's not that great of a guy. But her friend's able to talk him into letting them fix it. Then once they fix it, they'll sell it and be able to make 10 times as much. They do a spit handshake, and you notice how her spit is like regular spit, and his has that purple goo in it. Again, everyone's dying. Everyone's been poisoned. Does this poison make you into a jerk? Is that what it is? Is that what they're saying? Like when you consume this stuff, it actually changes you as a person? But he's like, "Okay, I'll be there. I'll be checking in on you guys. So get that thing fixed and get back to me, and we'll make that money." They have to break into the labs, these big domes, and they're making their way through there. Again, they're being watched by something. Don't know what this thing is. They're making their way through. They find a hand cart. They start moving her. Uh, they hear something. Then the Guinevere thing screams, like in a very creepy scream kind of way. They're being chased by something big, something loud. They get thrown across the thing into the water, and then they climb into one of these little mini domes. Here's the thing: are these Guinevere robots buoyant? And how do they? Have you ever tried to pull someone out of like a pool? It's damn near impossible. I'm assuming this Guinevere thing weighs, substantial. Like, how do they pull her out of the water? Anyways, they kind of get into this little like. It reminds me of The Force Awakens. Remember when Rey was tearing apart that Star Destroyer? But it's like that. But then she's like, "Wait a second. This Guinevere thing screamed. These things aren't programmed to scream. That's like crazy. Like, well, how could it even like scream like that? Like maybe it was trying to warn us." This giant night robot thing finds them, and it's like, "Oh, my good ladies, please return my property to me." And it's just like they're super scared. They hit it with some nitrous freezy stuff, and it experiences pain. Why would you make robots that can feel pain? Like, why would you even do that? Anyways, it gets really pissed off, starts stabbing the dome, and just grabs it and throws it. You're dead. This would be like surviving a helicopter crash. It doesn't happen. Frankie has a freak out, and then I guess the Guinevere thing saved them, like drags him over and like touches her face. But Frankie sees the Guinevere the way that she looks in her memories. "Oh, thank you, kind. I remember you." And is this person here your guardian? And she's like, no. Well, I'll take care of this for you. You don't worry, sweetheart. And she's like being very kind, very sweet. I like that. That's super cool. But in reality, it's the Guinevere that's all like Frankenstein and everything. So Frankie is crazy. Like she had a full-blown hallucination here. Her friend's like, we gotta get the hell out of here. Frankie's like, well, we gotta save her. She helped us. And she's like, what the hell are we gonna do? That's a giant robot with a giant sword. Like, what in the world could we possibly do? They close the doors. They hear fighting. They see blood splatter all over the place. The doors open and Guinevere's, collapses. But that robot has been decimated. Like, ripped limb from limb. I wish we would have seen the fight. That'd have been cool. Budgetary reasons. So this thing saved their lives and they're going to go save her. So they put her in this like med bay thing. They're going to like fix her up. It's lots of body horror. I don't want things going inside my body and doing all this stuff. It's bleh. They reboot her. She's like in a fantasy world. Is this how Guinevere sees things? So she sees these women as little girls. Because I guess that might have been the last time she saw them, like in her memories. So they have an android that has like fake false memories. And they fix her in an episode. Okay, lots of mystery. I want to see the world building. Is this, I think this is planetary, right? Like they're on multiple planets. So they have interplanetary travel. Like where does this all go? Does this company rule everything? Are they like an overarching, authoritative government that controls everything? Or are there other governments? Are there other places that do something similar? Like I need to know all these things. Stuff off planet. Are there planets like separatists? Did they leave the Earth for other reasons? You could take this in a million different ways. I just also want to know why you would make a robot that could feel. Like, why would you do that? That's just weird. Unless you're just a sicko. You get these really cool end credits. They look really cool. I like these character designs are pretty cool. But decent. I will continue to watch this series and see where it goes. Hopefully it just doesn't devolve into, eat the rich and distribute the income and distribution and we need to have DEI policies. As long as it doesn't go in that direction, make it more broad, make it not so Antifa focused, BLM focused. Hopefully they don't do that. Considering the people making this, I doubt that they won't be able to help themselves, but overall pretty decent. Check out the pilot. It's on YouTube. It's free. And I will continue to review this series. It's done enough for me to want to keep watching it. So keep watching the videos, guys, reviews, all that fun stuff. Share them around, comment. I love every single one of you dudes. So thanks a lot. Catch you on the next one. Crimson Sin here. Thanks for watching the video. Remember, liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting on the video really helps out a lot. It gets the video spread around more people get to see the videos, and we get to make more videos for you guys. So thank you, and we appreciate every single one of you guys.